Hello again. This is Dan Brock with BranchBird. I'm BranchBird's Healthcare Analytics Practice Director, and if you've been following our data discovery and healthcare demonstrations, this is one more installment in that series. I've spent some time showing you the solution at the highest level. I've shown you how clinical researchers and administrators might use the solution. But in today's session, I really wanted to focus on some of the additional bells and whistles that BranchBird uniquely brought to this solution on top of our customers' electronic medical records. We didn't spend a lot of time previously talking about how the unstructured medical notes were ingested, but we did see that in previous installments that we do have almost 6 million clinical documents or medical notes, all of which can be read and accessed directly in the solution, and certainly unlocked through fully featured search, and we've seen that in some of those previous installments. We didn't talk at all about how we leverage common medical ontologies like SNOMED to look for some of those salient and meaningful concepts within the unstructured medical notes. And for those of you who are familiar with some of those medical ontologies like SNOMED CT or MESH or Metathesaurus, you'll know that it's really a taxonomy of anything from diagnoses to anatomy to medications to procedures. It's really the entirety of the medical universe broken down into concepts. And what's great about it in terms of these data discovery solutions is that we can leverage the synonyms of those ontologies to properly tag each medical encounter and the medical notes that go with it with the relevant concepts. And so as different physicians talk about medications with different terminology or the generic form of a medication, we know that leveraging those synonyms we can tag the information equally. So one of the tabs that we didn't show in the solution in some of those previous sessions was some of the tag clouds that highlight what the most frequently encountered concepts are that we're seeing within the corpus of unstructured information. And so by leveraging and tagging according to those concepts, as we're slicing and dicing the solution, we can see what the medical notes are telling us in terms of those concepts. So now we can bucket things like, most common procedures, most common medications found within the unstructured medical notes corpus. And as we slice and dice by other attributes, we can see how those concepts within the medical notes recalculate and adjust and tell us what's most prevalent based on the subsets of data we're interested in. So at BranchBird, you can see we've actually taken the use of the SNOMED CT ontology a step further. And for those of you that keen eye might have noticed, there's actually a second page of the application dedicated to those concepts. And I want to quickly illustrate what it is we've done with this second page and why it's important as another avenue of exploration in the solution. So on this page, instead of looking at medical encounters for the 3 years of medical records we've ingested, we've, as a separate record collection, just ingested those 300 some odd SNOMED CT concepts. So we can explore just the concepts themselves. And the reason that's important is because if I find something, a medication, a procedure, and I didn't know what name to look for going into it, I can then take that and pivot back into my medical encounters and see what subset of data I've arrived at. So let me illustrate that a little bit. So again, I don't come myself, Dan Brock, don't have any classical medical training, and I may know that I'm interested in identifying what medications might be used as antibiotics. So I can then go in and find just those what they call pharmaceutical substances and really just look at that subset. And then leveraging search, I can just start typing for antibiotics and see that there's synonyms of antibiotic that come up right away. And I can choose to filter by that and find, here's tetracycline, which is a concept I didn't know ahead of time because, again, I don't have any formal medical training. So if I then choose to refine by tetracycline, and I filter that down and I pivot back over to my medical encounters, I can see that now I'm just looking at 20 patients and their 24 medical encounters that had something to do with the use of tetracycline. So again, it's an avenue of exploration that allows more novice users become dangerous by identifying previously unknown and ununderstood medical concepts. So that's one additional use that BranchBird brought into the solution. Another one that I want to wrap up with is just BranchBird's capability and ability to close some of the gaps with data discovery solutions by producing our own visualizations. And oftentimes in healthcare and oftentimes in a lot of industries, organizations need their own visualizations to tell the best story of their data. And in healthcare, we're finding that when it comes to geospatial analysis, often just plotting points on a map isn't enough, and organizations and providers need to understand districts and neighborhoods and regions. And we here at BranchBird have the ability through GeoJSON shapefiles really overlay any geological or neighborhood or regional boundaries necessary to help those organizations understand where they're providing care. Look at metrics by region, by neighborhood, by zip code, to really help them understand what it is their treatment looks like in that region. So again, please check out our other installments, and I thank you for your time.